Hey guys, my name is Ellery and today we're going to be cooking a coconut poached cod that's sort of Thai inspired. So I can show y'all these beautiful aromatics that we're going to be adding to the dish. There's lime, garlic, some basil from the garden that we'll add at the end, some ginger that we'll grate in, and then I have a jalapeno, which I'm just basically using as a substitute for a Thai chili pepper, and then this little pepper from the garden, which I'm not sure what kind of pepper it is, but we'll use those. Some lemongrass from the garden that will just be simmered in there, and then some green onions that we'll chop up as well. And then we have some white onion here that I just finely sliced a little bit earlier today. And then we have some coconut milk and some homemade chicken broth. And then the cod itself is honestly kind of a lot. It's 2 pounds of cod from Costco, and it's wild caught, and I just have had it in the freezer, so I'm excited to cook with it. I think that this is going to be super delicious. My husband and I both love Thai food, so I'm excited to try a new recipe and potentially add it to the always on rotation. We don't really eat a lot of fish, so I think this will be a fun little experiment. I am going to be using my little hot plate because I'm going to try to show y'all the details of the food, but I think what I might need to do, because it's kind of hard to move the camera, is just shoot some close-up stuff with my phone and then I'll bop it in there for you. So the first step, we kind of already did a lot just by dicing an onion and chopping up some garlic, but I want to get my microplane out for the ginger, and then we're going to add some coconut oil into the pan here. I just have this absolutely ginormous thing of coconut oil that I got at Costco, and I've been cooking all day, so it's a little warmer in the kitchen, so it's a little liquidy, which is perfect for pouring. Otherwise I just go in there with a little spoon and scoop it out. And we're gonna add our aromatics first. So while the coconut oil is heating up, I'm just going to dice up our pepper. This will grate directly in there, and I might add one, or I'll add 2 of the green onions now, and then the rest of them I'll add as it's cooking so that they have a little bit more texture. Let's see. I'm gonna scoot these so I have a little bit more room, and then I'll just be low. I think I might actually add a little bit more garlic. I just feel like I want more garlic. This mentioned it was a jalapeno, which the most common jalapeno that you see is green, which this is the same exact pepper. It's just left on the vine. I don't think it really changes the flavor that much, but I like the look of a red pepper more. So, and I'm just going to get this pretty small. I like the flavor of heat, but I don't want anything super crazy spicy. So cutting it small, I feel like helps distribute the heat a little bit more evenly so that you're not just getting hot pepper. And when you're cooking with something like coconut milk, I think that really cuts the heat a lot. I've never cooked cod before at all, I don't think, unless I just am not remembering, but I'm excited to try it because I hear that it's absolutely delicious and very buttery and flaky, and that it pairs really well with this Thai flavor profile and coconut milk. I also saw a good amount of recipes that had dill and lemon, which is just a different take on it, which also would be delicious, but it's pretty common that I have peppers and onions and garlic, and less common that I have dill. I have grown it in the garden, but I don't have any right now. I have one plant that is either dill or fennel that's hanging on by a thread, but it's like on to seed, and I don't think it would be very good. And it's a little crispy from the Texas sun, and I prefer Thai, so we'll just try this out. I am curious if there's a similar recipe to this from my favorite Thai cookbook, but I didn't actually check, so I might have to go check it out and see. But I feel like a few years ago, I love to cook and I've always loved to cook. And with that, I pretty much make all of our dinners unless work gets super busy and then we eat out, but I really don't want to do that. And so a while ago, I was making all of our dinners, 100% of them. And the thing that made it actually doable was making a Thai chicken curry with coconut milk. And also my husband was keto, which made it more complicated. But that was, I feel like, what made me a little bit more confident in cooking this style of food. It's such an easy recipe. You just quickly cook your chicken, just brown it and cook it mostly the way through because it simmers for a pretty long time. And then you add vegetables, basically just whatever you have on hand, whatever you want to do. But I would do onions for sure, always. And then sometimes I would add mushrooms, zucchini. If Andre hadn't been keto, I maybe would have added sweet potato. But you just add your little vegetables in with the chicken, add garlic for sure, and then a Thai curry paste, which comes in a little can, is my favorite brand, comes in a can, and then you would just open the can, and I would put the whole thing in there because I was normally making a couple batches of it, and then just like we would eat through it throughout the week. But now I just have one that's in the plastic tub and I keep it in the fridge. So then I just add a couple spoonfuls of that whenever I make it. And that has all of the harder to find ingredients. I'm pretty sure it has fish paste in it and something called galangal, which looks a lot like a ginger root, but has a medicinal flavor to it. It's very good. I really like it. I actually have some of the root in my freezer. So you could just toss that in there and simmer it. And then you just add a can or 2 cans of coconut milk and then just let it all percolate for a little bit. And then at that time we weren't having it over rice, but that was just such an easy go-to meal. I would get like 3-pack of the chicken thighs from Costco. It's like probably 1.5 pounds of chicken, maybe 1 pound of chicken in each pack, but it comes in a set of 3. And I would just always have those in the freezer. And then I would just take them out the night before. And you don't even have to slice them. You could just cook them whole like that. But most of the time I would slice them into smaller pieces. And actually a couple times I did not remember to move them to the fridge. So I would just take them out frozen, leave them on the counter for a little bit, and then I would actually peel off the wrapper, the plastic around it, and then take the block of frozen chicken and just slice into it. And it was actually felt like a little less mess than actual raw chicken, and it worked perfectly. And then I could just cook all of that chicken, and by putting it in the pan, it would defrost and cook. So it's a very easy recipe. I'm gonna get this. And then I already made rice. So we have some rice cooking in the background, and it's just on low with some butter and water to make sure that it doesn't stick to the bottom of it. And then I keep ginger in the freezer at all times. And then I just use this microplane thing to grate it. And it's kind of cool because the ginger comes out. I'll show you. The ginger grates, but the skin just like smushed. So you actually don't need to peel it. You can just eat the skin for sure, but you don't really need to. It just moves out of the way. I don't know why. I did not know that when I started freezing my ginger. I just wanted to have it on hand at all times. And I would mostly just use it in broth and stuff. So I would just throw it in whole. But it works really well with this method. So that's what I do. I feel like that's probably enough. Honestly, when I was describing that Thai chicken curry, I was thinking I could just add some of the curry paste into this, but I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm gonna just follow the little recipe. So we're gonna start to add our aromatics here. So I'm just gonna get a close-up of it for y'all. Let's see, how do I do this with one hand? I will figure out the filming piece of this, and you don't want it to like brown, you just want it to saute a little bit and get the flavors to fully express themselves. And then I'm gonna add the peppers. It smells very good already. Those guys. And then the ginger goes in there. I might need to use my other hand. That looks great. So we'll just give this a little stir around. Yum. And then we'll add in our onions. I was also gonna add some lime zest, so I can do that. I maybe should have cut the end of that off. Let me see. The little root of the onion was holding it together. And then the lemongrass. I think I'm gonna wait until we put the coconut in there, potentially. I should have zested the lime before cutting it, but that's okay. I'm gonna just a bit, trying to make sure not to zest too far into the pith. Oh my gosh, that looks so pretty and it smells so good. I think this is gonna be delicious. And then when all is said and done, you just serve it over the rice and the rice absorb the sauce and the coconut milk. It looks very good. Everything's starting to brown, so I think we're gonna go ahead and add our cod. Let me just make sure that we're following a recipe. Let's add the coconut milk and we'll bring it to a simmer. I made sure my can opener was in its home. And then I'm just gonna set these over here in case we need them again. I technically only need 1 can of the coconut milk for 2 pounds of cod, but I also wouldn't mind having more of the sauce, so we're just gonna see how this feels. And I get this coconut milk at Costco, and it comes in a 6-pack, and it is definitely not expensive. It's definitely less expensive than getting an individual can at the grocery store by at least half, so recommend. It's kind of funny, when I first started dating my now husband, I was kind of against Costco. I lived in a small apartment, so I also was just like, didn't like the bulk thing. It felt like you were just buying to buy stuff, which I didn't really like. But then I got a membership through him and we moved to a house and I started cooking for 2 people instead of 1. And it really just started to make a lot of sense. And so I've really enjoyed getting to learn the ways of Costco and like which products are actually worth buying at Costco. Because some stuff I've done the nerdy calculation of like actual cost per like bell pepper, and it was actually the same or like slightly less to get a 3-pack of bell peppers at our regular grocery store compared to Costco. So some stuff it's better to get elsewhere, but then it's like if it takes you to multiple places, you got to factor that in. Blah. I'm gonna get this lemongrass in here. So I just get this from the garden and tie it. It does not stay together. I've never once had it actually stay tied, but it's just kind of fun. And then I just let that percolate in there. I am gonna add another can of the coconut milk, and then we also need to add or half a cup of vegetable stock or chicken stock, which I just have some chicken stock that I made, so I'm just gonna add that in. I guess you could, it's technically like kind of a hearth stock thing. It has some beef bones in it, or the stock pot did. So, but it's just broth at the end of the day with a mild flavor. That smells very good. And I am gonna add a 2nd can of coconut milk because I just want more sauce than this. And then I'll just think through if that means that I need to add any more aromatics to rebalance it, because the coconut milk, because it's so creamy, rich, and delicious, could let some of the heat. So we may end up adding some heat back in or some more ginger, but I could also just serve it with some chili oil when it's all done. But let me just add in a little bit more ginger. It's always funny because it looks like nothing has been grated, but then it's all on the bottom, so you just have to like whack it and then it all falls out. And then when the ginger gets to be this size little nub, then I just set it aside for broth, which stays in the freezer. I just have a little scrap bag kind of thing. So this looks absolutely delicious. I'm gonna bring it up to a simmer and then we'll add our cod. I don't want the cod to get juice everywhere, so I'm gonna just open it over the sink and then we can place it in. Nice. It's a lot of cod. I wonder how long this will last, Andre and I, like meal-wise. Because when you add the rice to it, it's a pretty hearty meal. I do feel like mushrooms would be really good in this. Do I want to mess with that though? Let me just see. I don't think I'm going to, but I was thinking that this would be good. It's like king oyster mushrooms, so they have a very mild flavor and they're just dehydrated and cook in the liquid, but no. I'm gonna keep it simple. I'll put these up and I'm gonna check on the rice, staying fluffy and warm. I put a little bit of butter in there. And then this is probably the chili oil that I'll serve it with. I actually really like the brand Fly by Jing. They have one. I'm just trying to see if I have the bottle. I think I'm out. But it's called Szechuan Extra Crunch or something, and it has peanuts or fried soybeans and split peas in it, and it's very good. It's not just spicy. It's not sweet, but it's kind of got like a good balanced flavor. So it's not just spicy, which is very nice. I like that with my raw carrot salad. It's delicious. This is starting to simmer. Let's see. And it's smelling absolutely delicious. So we're gonna go ahead and add the cod in. I wanna see how much we can actually fit in this pan. I tried to choose my widest pan so that we could fit as much without it overlapping. Just put that in there. I feel like I might have to cook it in batches, but let's see. It's very fun to cook something totally new. I'm excited. Hi, Pablo. I'm gonna lower the heat and then we're gonna cover this as we do everything else. It smells so good. It is kind of funny. Oh, sorry if that was loud. I feel like the two dishes that I make the most are ossobuco and Thai curry, which I think the common factor in all of that is stuff that is simmered. So maybe that's my style of cooking, is just simmered. But it's pretty rare that I like make something without some kind of broth or liquid. Probably the third most common thing I make is carnitas or beef tongue or barbacoa, which is also just simmered. I feel like it's probably because I just grew up making broth all the time, and that's once you make broth then you want to use it, so you make soups and simmery stuff. I'm just gonna put this in our little bowl on top of the plates and then leave some for Andre and I to add, but that looks good. I'm gonna do the same thing with the basil. We'll chop up some of it and use it on the thing. This is just, I think it's actually Thai basil. I think I'm gonna leave a couple leaves whole just for the look. I think that would be kind of nice. And then we're also gonna add some of this fish sauce. I think we just need 2 tablespoons. Let's see, 1 tablespoon. So I'm just gonna add it in. I'm not gonna measure. I think it's not that serious. Cool. And that definitely adds a very distinctive flavor, which I think is fun for home cooking. And then this cooks really quickly. I think 7 minutes. So we've got lots of delicious accoutrements in there. I think I should add those green onions because this is gonna cook really quick. And I'm gonna turn the temperature down. You're supposed to cook it until fork tender, which this does look quite tender. So let me get a fork because it's not falling apart when I turn it. I'm also gonna try to stir the lemongrass around a little bit. I feel like the pieces right next to it are gonna be very lemongrassy and the other ones maybe not as much, but maybe the coconut milk will help distribute the flavors. I also do want to try it because now would be the time to adjust seasoning or add any last minute aromatics. So I'm just gonna try the broth. That's very good. I do feel like it needs salt, and honestly I think more heat would be good. So I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna just try the fish because it's definitely very tender. I don't think a little bit longer will hurt it, so. I'm gonna add more, oh, it's a lime juice. That's also what it's missing for sure. But I'm gonna add some salt. And I actually have a kind of fun seasoning called black lime, which is basically just dehydrated lime powder. So I'm gonna add a little bit of that, which kind of just looks cool. I'll get a little video. So that's all the dehydrated lime, which is, I think that this is good. I definitely wanna add the lime. I'm just gonna add it so that we can adjust if we need to. And I'm gonna go ahead and do the full lime since it's stuck in there. We got it. It's kind of starting to fall apart. So I think we're done cooking and then we just need to serve it up. This is our lemongrass is sticking out. So just tucked in there. Clear this stuff. I do think I'm gonna add the chili oil to the top because I think that will be delicious. Let me show y'all this. I think it's totally done. Falling apart. I'm gonna just turn this off. Oops, not on eye. I'm gonna turn that off and then I'll serve it up with the rice. Just turn that off. I'm gonna give Andre a good amount of rice. And then I'll do just, I'll grab the fish here and not the lemongrass. Let's try to get that. I think I'm gonna do 2 pieces for Andre because some of them are kind of smaller. That lemongrass really wants to join the party. I'm gonna actually take it out if I can. And then I wanna add some of the onions and peppers. And then I'm gonna grab the ladle for the sauce. We'll just put that over top. Add some of these guys. This looks so good. Basil. Do we want the whole leaves? Yeah, we'll just do it off to the side. Cool. I am proud of that. That looks delicious. We got the cute little basil leaf. That looks so good. And then I'll just add flaky salt to the top of this. So I'm gonna get mine plated up and then we'll let Andre know that everything is ready. Thanks for spending time with me today and making this. I'm really excited to try out a new recipe. Sprinkles on top, green onion and basil. And then I am gonna add a little bit of the chili oil. Just a little bit. Yum. I hope that you're having a great day and that this inspires you to make something new. Bye.